On the momentous occasion of the inauguration of the 45th President of the United States, I have worn my inaugural jacket to the office. As a matter of fact, it's just a blazer, but the buttons that I have put on this are the tokens of the inaugural ball of the Reagan-Bush inauguration in 1981. Being a participant and being the responsible for the Capitol Hill Christian Fellowship, which was under my supervision at that time, I was invited to the inaugural ball, and the token was the blazer buttons that I wear, and also I have these cufflinks, the cloisonne version that were done after that. So this is a big day in America, and I hearken back to 1981, where for years it was there was a spirit of depression over America for years. And the very day that Reagan was inaugurated, and the week that followed that, living in Washington, D.C., living and working in the Capitol Hill area, it was like a cloud of depression lifted. It was like a breath of fresh air. And with the rainfall happening in Washington, D.C. right now, I am praying that it is a cleansing of the air, that there is a full exposure, that the light shines into the darkness of what has become a nation which has turned its back on Almighty God. Not only did we elect, for a second term, a Muslim who have done everything he possibly could to destroy Israel, to destroy the United States, to destroy the moral fabric of America with his sodomite laws and things that he came up with that has torn this nation apart. The division that has been foisted upon Israel through his actions will come back and will cause division in the United States, and I see that division stronger than I ever have before. See, back in 1981, I can go back and I was adult at that time. I had a child that was, growing on nearly a year old at that time. And so watching what has happened in this country since that time, I have a vantage point that the younger generation, they just don't have. And they were not there. And this has just been such a heart-wrenching thing to see an entire generation of people that are so absolutely clueless, but not because of their fault. It's basically because of the media and what's been done that one of the most evil people ever to enter politics, Hillary Clinton and her husband, the number of murders that have happened to the people who committed suicide with gunshot to the back of the head at like 20 yards, the number of people that have died to cover up their trails in drugs and pedophilia and in the Whitewater scandals and all the things that they are involved in. Hillary Clinton was involved as the First Lady in so many cover-ups, and the death of the top official in the United States, the highest official to be killed in office since John F. Kennedy. And this is what happened, and she was rifling through his papers and through his office and shredding documents, and then documents relating him to their Whitewater investigation were found with her fingerprints. But see, you can't touch them because of the evil coalition that is together. Just as Satan said to Yeshua, all you have to do is bow down to me, and all the kingdoms, the power, and the wealth of the world has been given to me. To whomsoever I will, I give it. Yeshua never challenged his jurisdiction, but he said, I won't bow. There are many who have bowed the knee to Satan and have said, I'll take a piece of the action. And this last election, we may have not chosen the best person for America, but we did not choose the most evil, despicable individual that I have ever even considered in America. But see, these were our choices. And what has to be understood, and this young generation can't even begin to fathom this, that right from the very beginning, Donald Trump hardly had to spend any of his money because the media covered him fully and positively with every single thing that he did and said. It was all a joyous revelry around Donald Trump until all of the other statesmen that perhaps were more qualified than he was were all taken out of the running. And even though every single senator, everyone in the Republican Party said there's no way that Donald Trump will ever get in, as soon as everyone was put out and the media helped it, as soon as that was done and Donald Trump was the only one left, then the media, then their next job was to turn everything against him to where every comedian, every talk show, everything was fired up against him so that they could get the most evil person in America into the White House that would have completely destroyed America. And even as we've seen what Obama's done, I told you before, I recorded it before, and I said, watch to see what Obama does during Hanukkah this year. Because Antiochus Hussein Obama has repeated history, and it's to destroy and to divide the nation of Israel. Basically, the United Nations is, you give us land or there will be war. That was what Obama was sent to do. And the first Muslim American, or Muslim, became the American president, and the media and the completely unaware generation voted in this Muslim once again, and then he turned into the first, as it was right on the front page of Time magazine, the first sodomite president. The first sodomite. I think they use the word gay, but sodomite, so that you understand exactly what we're talking about, what he was engaged in, and of course his years that he spent in drugs and cocaine and in drag. All these things are well known out there for those who open their eyes. But the media and those who control the media have put the whole thing together, but the Almighty has given us an opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. We need to pray for this president. We need to pray for his cabinet. We need to pray for the statesmen that are still in the U.S. Congress and in the U.S. Senate, because there are very few statesmen left. Most of them are just basically pimps. They are they have sold out to whoredom, and they've sold out for the buck. But there are a few, and we are praying that the Almighty shines a light in the darkness, and the rain cleanses this rat-infested government out. And so this is why we're praying. Now remember how serious this is. Ronald Reagan, shortly after his first term, was shot. He was attempted assassination. When asked later, what happened to your concept of going back on the gold standard? And according to the word was that he replied one statement: I was already shot once. That's all that needed to be said to anyone that knows what's been going on in this country with the Federal Reserve System, which is not a government agency. It's a Federal Reserve System is actually a private corporation that is incorporated in Puerto Rico. And of course, the guardians of the president are the Treasury Department. And so, ladies and gentlemen, if you think that you're being told the truth in the news media at all, it's all fake news. You are being manipulated out there, and that's why, I really can't blame this younger generation. You weren't around to see the number of dead bodies that were around the Clintons. Everyone that was to testify against them in numerous cases ended up dead. And the women who were testifying against the sexual predatory acts and pedophilia of Bill Clinton and the Clintons, they all ended up Hillary Clinton went after them with private investigators to completely ruin their lives, and many of them ended up dead. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so thankful that Americans stood up and they at least voted for not the most wicked person in America. And who we have, we need to pray for because there is going to be trouble. And it's going to be trouble because of what has happened with the United Nations, with the Obamas, as they're leaving office, destroying the very office of the presidency and any opportunity for there to be peace in Israel. Looks like everything is set to go nuke, but we still pray that we have the opportunity to get the gospel of the kingdom out. Been warning it for years. Now you're watching it before your very eyes. Thankfully, we are alive to be able to see this and to enter into this time of trouble. This is Michael Rood on Inauguration Day, wishing you shalom, peace. And I'll see you when the smoke clears.